News 10's Jamie Worsley is in Atlanta at the Carter Center and has this report on Mrs. Carter's unmatched legacy.
Well, Rosalynn Carter's life and legacy will live on through the work done here at the Carter Center. You know, the Carter Center does some pretty remarkable things. It was founded in 1982 by the former First Lady and, of course, Mr. Carter himself. And it stands for everything that Rosalynn believes in, and that's, quote, creating a more caring society. The center works to ensure that people have access to public health through vaccinations and the eradication of several diseases across the United States. They also work to ensure that elections are carried out safely and securely and that everyone has the right to vote and vote fairly in countries across the globe. And then, of course, they also promote things like caring for the elderly and for those that have mental health disorders. Now, all of this is done in partnership with Emory University. And as I said, the life and legacy of Rosalynn will not stop here with her passing. It will continue on because of the work that this center will continue to do. Taking a look back at some of the things Rosalynn's done, our Gray television station put together this special story.
A soft-spoken, small-town girl, Rosalynn Smith Carter became one of America's most charming first ladies. Born in Plains, Georgia on August 18, 1927, she was valedictorian of her high school class and met and married Jimmy Carter when he was in the U.S. Navy.
I love and respect and cherish and honor my wife, Rosalynn.
When Mr. Carter's father died in 1953, they moved back to Plains to manage the family's peanut farm.
I didn't want to go home. I was having a good time. I think I thought I had outgrown Plains, Georgia. Had gotten a little too big for my britches. I only pouted for about a year after we got home.
They had 4 children, 3 boys, Jack, Chip, and Jeff, and later daughter Amy. In 1962, Jimmy Carter entered politics and Rosalynn hit the campaign trail.
Campaigning was fun up to a certain point because I got to travel and see the whole country. The most fun are the people you meet.
She supported her husband's successful bids to become governor of Georgia and later president of the United States.
So help me God.
Mrs. Carter was actively involved in her husband's presidency, attending Camp David meetings and cabinet briefings. She was a strong advocate for equal treatment of the mentally ill.
If they had coverage for their mental illness, then the overall health care costs would come down.
When the Carters left the White House in 1981, they spearheaded a new challenge, Habitat for Humanity, building houses for the poor.
The whole community has come together to get rid of poverty.
A year later, they established the Carter Center, a foundation devoted to promoting human rights, resolving conflicts, and eradicating diseases. Mrs. Carter continued to focus on reducing the stigma of mental illness.
I'm really, really proud of you and very impressed with what you can do.
Another focus, caregiving, an issue close to her heart, as she told a congressional committee.
It's been part of my life since I was 12 years old. And my father was diagnosed with leukemia at age 44. We lived in a very small town, and all the neighbors rallied around, but I still vividly remember going to my secret hiding place, the outdoor privy, if you can believe that, to cry. That's where I could be alone.
In 1999, Rosalynn and Jimmy Carter were honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest honor for civilians.
Rosa and I have visited now more than 115 nations in the world.
Mrs. Carter was often irritated that her husband was praised more for his achievements after his presidency than those of his administration, but she accepted that was politics.
It doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be criticized for it. And so do what you want to do.
And they were a remarkably close first couple. Jimmy Carter used to say Rosalynn was much more than his wife.
It's always Rosalynn to whom I turn for the primary advice, and we make the decisions together. She's the matriarch. When our 11 grandchildren or our 4 children have a problem, they call Rosalynn first because they know that they'll get a sympathetic ear.
She remained by his side, occasionally joining with other first families, and later supporting each other in their twilight, she with dementia and Mr. Carter in hospice. And in the 39th president, Rosalynn Carter got more than just a husband.
My life with Jimmy Carter has been more adventuresome than I ever dreamed it would be.
Now, another thing that Rosalynn Carter and the Carters together stood for is promoting peace in a contentious world, something I think we all could use a little bit more of right now. In Atlanta at the Carter Center for WAOB News 10, I'm Jamie Worsley, your hometown news source.